My name is Stanley Rondeau and I live at Winchmore Hill on the north of London, and I was born in Tottenham, and it's only about 5 miles away from where I was born. So,
what brings you to Rhiwbina? Tell me all about it.
Yeah, well, when I was a little lad, around about 6, a small event happened in Europe, such as a war, and the children had to be evacuated, and I went off to a small farm in Cambridgeshire with my brother.
Can you date this?
Yes, that was 2 days before war broke out. Yeah, because that was the day when about 1 million children all got onto trains or went off to God knows where. No one knew where they were going, and least of all the parents. And then they were informed afterwards where we'd got to, and that's the first time they knew where we were. And then I went to a little place called Wimbledon on a farm, and then we were there for about 6 months, and because they felt that the war wasn't going anywhere, we decided to come home. A lot of the children did do that in the official records. They said probably about 20 or 30% of them all came back. And then in the middle of 1940, so around about that time, all the bombing started on London, and because then they realised that things were getting a bit dodgy, so they wanted they didn't send everybody away like they did the first time. They asked people if they wanted to go. I think it was more like, do you want to go again? And so my brother and I went away again. And this time was when we landed up in Rhiwbina. I don't know whether they sort of set us off the trains in bundles of each railway station as they pulled in. They said, right, this lot will be for Rhiwbina, this lot will be for the next one. And I've got no idea how Mr. and Mrs. Oakey came to pick us up. But all I know is that we couldn't have picked a lovelier couple. They were an elderly couple, they were the same age as my parents, but they had no children of their own. But they treated us like we were children of their own. He took a shine to my brother, who was 6 years older than me, and he used to take him to the golf course because he was very keen on golf. And he even cut a wood down for my brother to learn to play it. I don't think my brother learnt much, but for 2 lads coming from a place like Tottenham in the middle of, in the war, it was out of this world. We just didn't know where we were. But the really good part about it was that as it was in a road called Lonisa, I've learnt that since I've been here, Lonisa, I couldn't have picked a better spot. It was like sort of, today is the sort of place you'd come to for a holiday, not an evacuation. And Mr. Oakey used to buy me a puzzle every week, and I used to look forward to him coming home on a Friday and seeing what sort of puzzle it was. And also I can remember him teaching me to tell the time. And so I did learn something from being in Rhiwbina. And as for the school, well, that was only just round the corner. I mean, I've noticed it now since I come here, to look, and I couldn't have been nearer to the school. But having said that, I still can't remember how we carried on the procedure at the school, whether we just done the morning and then some that done it in the afternoon, because of all the large intake of children at different places with evacuees and so on, that's what they did. They done the education in shifts. But having talked to that woman today, she says she can't remember doing mornings and afternoons, unless that only just applied to the evacuees.
Did you see any of the bombing in Cardiff, and can you describe your experience?
Well, this is another thing. We had come away from London to get away from it, and my brother and I used to stand at the windows in our bedroom looking out, and we could hear hear and see the bombing going on in Cardiff, and we just felt it was just like being back home. We couldn't believe we were here, you know. And another thing my brother learnt from Mr. Oakey, I didn't go in for it, and that's what Mr. Oakey always took a cold bath in the morning. Cool, and he used to dunk his salt in this freezing cold water. And he got my brother to do it as well. And my brother kept it up quite a while, but it wasn't well, I was too young, I was only 8, but because my brother's always been a bit on the athletics side as well. He was the runner and so forth. I was the bloke who used to lay on the couch reading a book, you know. And so far, since I've been here, I've had a wonderful time. I've been back to the old school I was at, with all the little children asking me questions, and I thoroughly enjoyed that. But so far I've found out a lot of things, but I'm hoping that from this, it's a thing that the emblem of the Civic Trust is an acorn, and I'm hoping that from this little acorn of coming here today and so forth, a mighty oak will grow.